Good afternoon, everyone. Very warm welcome to you all. My name is Namita Datta, and I'm so delighted that we're having this meeting today. So I am, just a quick introduction. So I head a global program that's hosted at the World Bank. It's called Solutions for Youth Employment. So I'm based in Washington, D.C. Now, just very quickly, I'll share with you just a couple words about S4Y, and then I hand it over to Apoorva to tell you a little bit more about what does YAG mean, Youth Advisory Group, and why we are all so excited to see you all, and we are looking forward to working with you all. So, Solutions for Youth Employment is a global program. It was developed by the World Bank a few years ago, and the idea about S4YE was that the issue of youth employment all over in several parts of the developing countries, in Africa, in MENA, in Asia, in Latin America. This is a problem that has affected young people all over the world. The ability to leave school, find a good job, or start a new business is not easy for young people. So how can we as a development community help them? And one of the things we found when we created S4Y, two things actually. One is that business as usual is not going to work. So we really need very new, very innovative approaches, because for many years, development communities, including multilateral organizations like ours, have been doing something about youth employment. But the issue still remains, right? I mean, it's still far from something that we can say we've solved. And then what that means then is that we need to be thinking about new ways of doing it. And also, you all know more than us actually, that the world of technology is also really changing how what kinds of jobs are available out there, how we prepare ourselves for those jobs. So innovative ideas, new ideas are really important. The second thing we realized was this is not something the World Bank can solve on its own. We really need to work together. So we have quite a large number of partners. We have about 40, 50 private companies. We have about 40 or 50 NGOs, CSOs that are part of our network. And then we have foundations, we have other multilateral organizations, and of course the World Bank itself is investing in several countries in youth employment operations, working very closely with the governments. But more than anything else, what is really important for S4YE is to, and this is something we have realized as we have gone along, is that young people are not just, and people like you actually, you've all been selected for a reason, is that young people are not just, just simple beneficiaries of youth employment operations that the World Bank runs or, an NGO runs. You are actually leaders. You're actually creating solutions, not just for youth employment, but for other development challenges. A lot of you are trying to solve in your own way, in your own communities, issues that deal with water, issues that deal with the climate. Some of you are very active in different ways of thinking about digital skills, for example. Some of you are working with people who have a disability. Some of you are working with refugees. There's a whole lot of issues that you're all dealing with. And so what we want is really to highlight to the world that young people are actually not just beneficiaries, they're not just receiving help from organizations, they're actually creating solutions. And so we actually, in a way, even want to learn from you. So and my colleague Apoorva will talk to you a little bit about what we hope to do together with you all, and how you were selected, and how we see this year unfolding. So I'm going to stop talking here and hand it over to Apoorva to share a little bit more detail, and then also share what else we plan to do today during the meeting. So Apoorva, over to you.
Thank you, Namita. Thank you for that fantastic introduction. Just to clarify, y'all can hear me, right? I've been in touch with so many of y'all, so thrilled to be finally meeting all of y'all and hopefully having a two-way communication over the course of this meeting, and of course through the course of the year. So before we dive in, I want to talk a little bit about what we are going to speak about today. We'll take about 10 minutes to speak about, as Namita mentioned, the YAG structure, how you were selected, what are the programs and activities we have in line for you, and then we're going to spend a good chunk of the first part, getting to know you. This time there'll be about 12 of our YAG, our youth leaders speaking, but for folks who haven't yet gotten a chance to participate, we are going to have meetings all through the year, such roundtables, so that you get an opportunity to pitch your idea, to pitch the development challenge that you're working on. And then we'll take some time to speak about the World Bank Water Youth Innovation Challenge that we've kicked off, and that's going to happen all through the year. And this exciting partnership by UNDP, the Youth Collab team, with a presentation by UNDP, they'll talk about the Springboard Entrepreneurship Program. And then we'll take some time at the end on a quick Q&A, wrap up, and next steps. All through the session, if you all are having any questions, please add them to the chat, or we'll take them at the end without disrupting the flow of the session. Again, thank you so much for being here. So, we started off with 17 members, and now we are 120 plus members from 60, and all of you were competitive.
Your voice is going in and out. I don't know if it's just me who's facing that problem. So can you speak a bit closer and speak up? I think your voice just fades in and out.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Is it okay right now? Okay, great.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry about that. Okay. So as I was mentioning, we were 17 members. Now we are 120 youth from 65 countries. And you all were competitively selected by a panelists and esteemed panelists from 3 organizations and institutions: the Youth Business International, and the UN Office of Youth, and the MasterCard Foundation. So congratulations and kudos to you all to go through the entire selection process to make it here. So here are a little bit of stats on the nominations. We received about 140 nominations, 120 were selected from 65 countries, mostly from low and middle income countries, which was our focus, and 50 organizations. Some of the most reputed institutions, organizations, agencies across the world, nominated y'all. Such as the Global Affairs Canada, and then USAID, World Vision, IFI, UNDP, who's here, and the UN Office of Youth, MasterCard Foundation. So we are thrilled to have these partnerships who work very closely with youth leaders who made these selections of of our YAG. As earlier we saw that Solutions for Youth Employment has a few areas of thematic focuses, and we did a quick word cloud of some of the themes and areas and topics challenges that you are working on. And we see that a lot of you working on digital, education, ag, tech, sustainability, but some other core topics to S4YE, such as advocacy, transport, refugees, the arts, which we are very active on, the creative economy, mental health, water, sustainability. So, and you will see a little while why this is important. So as was earlier mentioned, we believe that to tackle youth employment, young leaders should have a more significant say in politics. And how do we do this? So through this program, young members will be a resource to any World Bank teams seeking inputs. You will be actively shaping S4YE's work program and knowledge work. We have webinars, we have discussion notes, reports that are published all through the year, and your inputs will be welcomed across the various stages of the program. Y'all also will gain exposure and visibility to international networks, to other partner organizations, to other youth leaders from various other networks. So here is a little bit about the participation specifically in the World Bank. So how does these program and activities look for through the year? We're going to kick off, as you see, with the launch. So all of y'all, since we are 20 or 120 of us, and we probably have another set of youth leaders being nominated a little later in the year, all of you would be part of one of these 7 thematic groups. Sometime in January, you'll be added to the WhatsApp groups of your specific themes. And that would kind of help you all, connect with each other, ask questions, find co-founders probably from this group, and so on and so forth. We're going to have these thematic roundtables each month, where the current YAG would be pitching their ideas and solutions, but also we're going to invite our alumni as well as other founders to present their ideas, and as well as share their journey as to what key milestones and skills and challenges that they've been going through over the last years that got them to where they are. We are also planning to have a blog series where we'll invite our YAG members to be active contributors, co-writers, co-authors of these blogs. As you see, we also would have a capacity building session, as young leaders, entrepreneurs, researchers. You'll know that entrepreneurship is not definitely a linear journey. There might be chances where y'all might need to apply for a job, create powerful connections, interview with different type of stakeholders. So we thought we are going to have a few sessions on skills once every few months. Periodically through the year, you'll get a chance to connect with other youth groups, such as with the UN Office of Youth, the Aspen Institute, some of our other partners who also have youth networks. And then, as the way y'all would contribute to the World Bank, to our work stream is, as some of you know, 4 of the YAG leaders have already presented in the S4YE Partner Summit last year. 2 of them were invited to a steering committee where they had active voices in our work stream. And through the year, as and when, depending on the program, depending on the regional focus, individually you'll be reached out to be contributing to these, to the various operations and other things at the bank. On marketing and outreach, if y'all have a certain achievement that y'all want to highlight, certain opinion piece that you want to share, please do share with us. We'll see if it could be featured on our newsletter and other social media channels. And of course, I did get a question about certifications and other such things. But for right now, what we are thinking is, all the YAG members, y'all are welcome to add this to your CV, to your LinkedIn, to your social media profiles, and tag us so people know, and even y'all can share to the world that you're a part of the World Bank Solutions for Youth Employment Youth Advisory Group 2024. So moving further, here are a few broad streams. Of course, the UNDP team is going to dive deeper into the Springboard Entrepreneurship Program a little bit later. But at the same time, we also have the World Bank Youth Innovation Challenge that COP28 December, and we are very, very excited about this, and we'll talk a little more about this, where we are going to we are inviting young aquapreneurs, water entrepreneurs, researchers, leaders to apply to this challenge and hopefully take advantage of all the exciting offerings that we have. So before we dive in to the exciting part of the session, we want to take a moment to, just turn on your cameras, all of y'all. We'll take one picture that we could make public, and then jump right into, presenting with the youth, talking about their work and their challenges. So I'm going to pause, stop the camera for, stop sharing my screen for a second. We'll take a minute or two, to turn on your cameras, and so that our comms lead, Sarah, can take a quick picture of us.
And just to, further clarify a little bit what Apoorva was saying, in the Get to Know You session, you'll see that there'll only be a few of you who get a chance to speak. And the challenge for us was, because we are quite a few, how do we do this in a way that it doesn't become like too long, So we thought, okay, let's start with a few today, and maybe we'll start with those of you who are leading solutions in terms of addressing climate. So we just picked a theme. It could have been any theme, but we picked climate for this time, so that each of you start getting to know each other as well. Because you'll realize you're actually learning more from each other than from even us, actually. Yeah. Okay. So maybe over to the photograph now.
Super. So, Sarah, are we ready?
Apoorva, do you have everyone on one big screen? Because I only have it on different pages.
That's okay. We can take multiple and then we can combine it.
Okay, I'll take a bunch. Just give me a few minutes.
Sure, no problem at all. So we keep smiling until then.
Yep. All right, on to the next one. Keep the smiles up. You all look great. There's a lot of you, which is nice to see. A few more. Almost done.
I was wondering if we should keep going, Apoorva.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, we do have everyone's pictures anyway, so we can always post that on social media.
Super. Great. Okay, great. So thank you again for your patience and smiling for the camera. So here, some of you all have been notified that you all are going to be pitching today. So if we have Michelle, we already made you a host, so you should be able to unmute yourself and talk a little bit about yourself.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry, there's just some technical problem right now. Okay. Hello all, my name is Michaela. So I'm from Indonesia. Currently, I reside in BC, Canada. My venture that I've been working for the past few years aims to solve the biggest problem in fast fashion, our addiction to stretch and retail overproduction. So our fiber is expected to disrupt the fashion industry by replacing spandex and nylon or other beneficial property of this particular fiber. By leveraging biocircularity and bioeconomical process. So how are we doing that? We transform problematic bio waste such as crustaceans, seaweed, fruit waste using our IP program novel bacteria and turn them into a fully compostable and stretchy fibers, replacing conventional fabrics. The process itself is net zero carbon, net zero waste, and net zero toxic chemicals. It also do not use fresh water in response to our massive industrial usage of fresh water by leveraging ocean water for our optimized process. We have gained traction from some established industrial factory and retail partners in North America and Asia, including Lululemon and personnel from Coach and Steve Madden. We're actively working with First Nations and Indigenous community on their predicament with invasive crab species by using their crabs as our feedstocks. So we hope that this could contribute to a better future for everybody.
Thank you, Michaela. Thank you. Next up, we have Dr. Divya Rathore. Divya, I think I saw you here. Please feel free to turn on your mic.
Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So, hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Divya Rathore. I'm founder of S4YE Nanos Innovations LLP. Also, I'm a PhD in microbiology and a PhD co-guide. I've started the solution on nanotechnology to solve the WASH problems, that is water and sanitation. One of our projects is to keep our toilets clean and hygienic. And also using nanotechnology, we are trying to create infectionless and easy cleaning toilets for 1 month. So it's an antimicrobial water and stain repellent solution, which you apply once in the toilet. You get infectionless toilets and easy cleaning toilets for 1 month, saving water up to 55%, as well as harmful chemicals which are used right now in the toilets. They are being reduced up to 75% because you're not supposed to use them while using our nanotechnology solution. I've also been guiding a lot of students on WASH nanotechnology. Also, one of my projects with a lot of with another government is to create magnetic nanoparticles to detect and sensors to detect water abnormalities and microorganisms in the water. So that's all about me. So let's prevent UTI. I'm happy to protect our environment. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Divya. Next up, we have Pasco.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yes, I'm Pasco Twinamasco, and I'm a social entrepreneur from Uganda. I work towards climate change and green job creation for the youth through environment and biodiversity conservation, and as well as tourism in the most biodiversity hotspots of rural Uganda. Well, I'm passionate about working with the grassroots communities on various nature-based solution projects like wetland conservation and restoration efforts. Yes, majorly with the aim to create a system where the government officials normally collaborate with the grassroots communities to ensure that there are long-term sustainable conservation results. Yes, we also do restore wetland systems. We provide alternatives of those communities that are over-depending on wetlands as their source of livelihoods. We market them in tourism staffs. Yes, we are also engaged in tourism. We create innovative, sustainable ecotourism solutions, like we organize birding sessions. We have a wetland ecotourism project where we do birding, primate watching, canoeing, swamp walk. Yeah, all those are meant to conserve biodiversity and create more green jobs for the youth through ecotourism, travel, and hospitality. I'm committed so much to empower young people in green entrepreneurship to create more jobs and also curb climate change. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pasco. Next up, we have Ong Seng.
So much. I hope I'm audible to everyone. Hello, everyone. Yes. I'm Ong Seng Marma, rooted in the Chittagong Hill Tracts region of Bangladesh, a place where nature is not just scenery, but the way of our life. I'm raised in an indigenous community. We proudly consider ourselves the protectors of the nature, the protectors of the hills and surrounding nature. Yet, the recent climatic challenges have thrust us into an unimaginable conditions like flash flood, drought, water scarcity, uneven rainfall, loss of biodiversity are impacting our lifestyle directly or indirectly. Right now, I'm working as an agriculturist, a crop scientist at Bangladesh Institute of Nuclear Agriculture, BINA. I'm more committed to researching and improving farming systems in the Chittagong Hill Tracts region. My mission is to blend traditional knowledge with modern science to address the impacts of climate change. Beyond my scientific work, my scientific pursuits, I volunteer to train youth across the Asian Pacific to raise awareness about sustainable development goals like SDG 1, SDG 13, SDG 14. And also, I'm working with Movers Program. I'm a youth climate advocate at Youth Empowerment at Climate Action Platform, YCAP. My advocacy extends towards connecting with climate activists globally. And also, I want to include, I'm looking forward to inclusion of indigenous youths in the global climate movement so that we can protect and preserve our nature for future generations. And also taking a decision in climate action for a sustainable future. I'm looking forward to collaborating with you all, and thank you so much for hearing me. That's all about my part. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ong Singh. Next up, we have Blessing. Blessing, are you around? Okay. Okay, so let's move on to Aya Emmanuel. Are you here? Okay. Do we have Vivens? Okay. Do we have Fraterin? Wait for just a second. Okay, Fraterin says he has a little trouble with the network, so I'll just maybe introduce him. Fraterin was forced to migrate to Tanzania from Kenya. He works on this very interesting initiative that combines music and conservation in his local community. So welcome, welcome, Fraterin. Simbi, are you here?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Simbi, we can hear you.
Perfect. Hi, my name is Simbi. I'm from Kenya. I have 1 minute, and so I'd like to ask us all to picture what equal employment for young women looks like. I know we work in climate and different areas, but just picture that. Well, that's the development issue I'm trying to address. How can we get young African women in employment? According to ILO, 72 million African youth are out of jobs, are not in employment, education, or training, and 2/3 of them are young women. So I do this in 3 ways. I address this in 3 ways. Firstly, through my employment, I worked at the International Finance Corporation as a gender officer, and I led the Women in Renewable Energy in Africa initiative. This aimed to have more women in the renewable energy space through a podcast called She Powers Africa. And then we mentored 50 women, and they were mentored by C-suite leaders. Secondly, I have a dual law degree in French and English law and a master's in social policy, where I've studied the effect poverty has on women. And that's why I believe that ensuring employment for young African women is key to decreasing poverty in Africa. Thirdly, and lastly, I'm part of the Women's Impact Alliance, where I have access to executive coaching, and I currently mentor a number of young women. So if there are any women in this group who need mentorship, who are looking to be in the renewable energy space, please reach out to me. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Simbi. Thank you. It looks like even Tanmay wants to speak. Maybe Peter, we can make him co-host also. At the end, we can have Tanmay speak. So Alok, Are you around?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Hello. Okay. So, hello everyone. My name is Alok Chandraprakash, and I am born and brought up in a small village in northern India. Almost every male youth from the 325 families of my village has migrated to big cities of India for their livelihood. After a failed monsoon this year, my village and the region are facing a severe water crisis, and the traditional water conservation system has been destroyed. On the other hand, rural institutions and community bodies are facing a severe leadership, participation, and ownership crisis. And these issues are not limited to just to my village. Our initiative, Gram Chetna Andolan, is building the hyperlocal constituents and solving the problem of community leadership, participation, and ownership in different rural institutions like Panchayati Raj. Panchayati Raj is actually a rural local body in India. Primary agriculture credit system, etc., and the school management committee also. For this, we are mobilizing, organizing, and training women and youth groups and revitalizing the community space to activate local solutions. I am super excited about this group to learn a lot of innovation and be a part of the solution on a global scale. Do write to us to partner to support our initiative and understand how it can be scaled in other regions. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alok. Next up, we have Balikis. Are you around?
Yes, I am. Hello, everyone. This is Balkis Voice and Face from Nigeria. I'm a farmer in Southwest Nigeria, and I'm also the co-founder of Green Republic Farms, where I also head human capital and corporate social responsibilities. And at the farm, we currently have what we call the Green Women Initiative, which provides decent and inclusive jobs for over 50 women in Southwest Nigeria. And we also work with young people. And one of the strategies that we are exploring is working with local communities that our farm is located in. Beyond this, we currently do open field farming. And as a result of climate change, we're looking at building our 3 set of greenhouses this month. And it's really exciting. However, I never pictured myself coming into the agricultural space. I actually started with grassroots mobilization and community engagement through Pick That Trash. And I've had to work with over 100 volunteers across board in that initiative. Yes, I mean, I've done a lot also in terms of social development, gender-based violence. I was very instrumental to the domestication of the VAP Act in Kwara State, Nigeria. So the VAP Act is called the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, and it has really proven very successful. So this is me and many more. I look forward to connecting with all of you and collaborating. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Balkis. Next up, we have Shakil Hussain.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Hi everyone, this is MD Shakil Hussain from Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, especially in the capital of Dhaka city, using the electrical and electronics device is rising quickly. The Bangladesh Electronics Merchandise Manufacturing Association estimates that 32 million tons electronics goods utilized annually in our nation. In report by the Department of Environment of the nation produce 4 lakh tons of e-waste annually, of which only 3% recycle and the remaining 97% is disposed of. Seeing these alarming numbers, I co-found Grow with Green, a one-stop digital platform in Dhaka city, where the user recycler upcycler buyer will be one chain, and user can sell their sustainable e-waste digitally and offline. We use the hub model, partnering with hawker, small shopkeepers, and the private sector, and e-waste can be bought and sold arranging to demand and time. Exchange exchange used and unused product for new product or money. To propel movement, we also organize meeting awareness campaign about the harmful effects of people's e-waste disposal. I'm excited to be here and to learn with, grow with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shakil. Thank you. Tanmay, are you able to speak? Okay. While Tanmay maybe gets ready, we can move on to one next. Kaushik?
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So hi, hello everyone. I'm Kaushik. I'm currently pursuing my undergrad STEM degree from India. So I'm a big fan of the movie Inception, which was directed by Christopher Nolan, because I'm also caught up with some of my own nightmares and dreams. It's not about like flying over the cities, but it's about asking deep questions like, are we taking enough actions to solve this climate crisis? And one such dream and nightmare came into reality when 7 trees were uprooted in my street. And when I asked my neighbor, why didn't he stop those people who were slashing it? Um, he said, like, 7 trees, right? It's not going to make that big difference. World is not going to change. So don't worry about it. I asked him, like, what if we had only 10 trees around us? You would have been left out with only 3 trees, right? So what I understood is that people around us think there's enough of green cover or there's enough of trees around us, but we can only say if it's enough if we have a data to back it up with, right? So to solve this problem, I'm currently working on making a tree database management and analysis, which helps individual and communities to track and preserve the trees around the local region. So with mapping and analyzing more than 250 plus trees in my area, I serve this information to my community in a narrative which would be able to, which they could understand it and they can take action. For example, uh, August 15, 2023, which was the Independence Day of India, all the 300 people came together to increase the green cover by 4%. So that's a pride moment for us. So currently, I'm working on improving the techniques to collect the data, the tree data, and I firmly believe that with the positive change that I could see over here, we would be able to strongly give a positive response to all my nightmares. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Kaushik. Thank you. So with that, we close the first round of introductions for this meeting and this month. And of course, as Namita mentioned, all of you are going to get a chance to pitch over the coming meetings. So before we dive in to the next, I want to talk about dive into the Springboard Entrepreneurship Program.
Just,
yes,
Apoorva, before you introduce that, I mean, I just wanted to say that just personally listening to each one of you was so inspiring. And I'm sure all your colleagues also feel inspired, in terms of just how all of you are taking on really difficult challenges. These are really difficult issues that you're dealing with. And as I was listening to you, I mean, I think with each one of you, I felt like asking more questions. Like, I want to know what that technology is, Michaela, that allows you to use crustaceans to develop into yarn and then sell to Lululemon. I mean, just very cool. Like, I want to know more. Similarly, Ong Sing, I want to know what is nuclear agriculture. Really, I haven't heard that term. I don't know exactly how you might be using that. Or you, Kaushik, I mean, what kind of app is this? And are you working with the water utilities? I mean, I'm just picking up a few, but with each one of you, I felt like asking more questions, learning more. And I don't know, honestly speaking, I don't know what the best way to do this is because there are many of you and we have limited time here. But hopefully, with the little introduction that each colleague gave you all, I just want to encourage, and I can see in the chat that it's already beginning. I just want to encourage you all to connect with each other. You don't need us to connect with each other, right? I mean, I think, and you also all know also that one of the key things about developing successful entrepreneurial initiatives or businesses is really networking. A lot of the literature shows that one of the reasons young people face challenges in setting up businesses is that they don't have as many networks as people who are a bit older, right? I mean, they've had a chance to develop networks. So use this opportunity to develop your networks. Maybe this other colleague who spoke from Bangladesh, you're in Nigeria, for example, just that connection might generate new ideas. So I just want to encourage you to connect with each other, even informally. And also, one thing that I wanted to say was that we are thinking about perhaps also, like Apoorva said, having a few thematic groups. I don't know whether that's the best way to make sure that you get to know each other, but maybe let's start there, like these smaller thematic groups. So if any of you also want to play a more leadership role in helping us develop these thematic groups, organizing good sessions, and you have the time to work with us, just let us know. You don't have to do it right now, but just write to Apoorva, because we are not going to be able to do this alone. So if you are able to lead a working group, just let us know. Sorry to interrupt you, Apoorva, go ahead. So this is a new, actually, innovation challenge that the World Bank has just launched. S4YE, and we're also working together with our colleagues in the water global practice. So people who are sort of the technical experts on water have launched this, and this is brand new. Some of you might be inspired to apply to this, but I'll let Apoorva talk about the details. Over to you. Back to you, Apoorva.
Thank you, Namita. Thank you for that fantastic, you put together very amazingly how our youth energy has been, inspiring all of us, and will do over the course of this of the year. So here is a little bit about the challenge. We've partnered with the World Bank Water Group and other, the private sector and institutions across the world who focus on water, support a new generation of young agripreneurs who would help, design this new new climate reality. The challenge will have 4 tracks, as you can see: too much water, which addresses issues such as flooding and sea level rises. And then we have the second track, which is too little water, which addresses issues related to water scarcity. And then we have contaminated water and mismanaged utilities. We kind of want to have this as, you'll see a little bit of the timeline, that the challenge will go on from now until October of the year, where young leaders and entrepreneurs, researchers from the water community will get a chance to build some critical entrepreneurship skills, improve the networks, get feedback from CEOs, VCs, and investors, particularly from the smart water companies. And of course, some of the semi-finalists and finalists will be invited to join the Microsoft Founders Hub, where they'll get a chance to connect with other founders such as themselves, entrepreneurship communities, accelerators, etc., to further their entrepreneurship journey. So the applications are open now. You all are welcome to scan, and we'll send this PowerPoint presentation, of course, after this meeting. You can scan this and register. Registrations are open right now. We launched this in COP back in December, and our applications will close on Feb 23rd. By the end of April or so, we are going to select the 40 semi-finalists who will go through a very, very intensive closed door process with CEOs and other accelerators to kind of hone and improve their ideas and pitches. So please do apply to this very interesting challenge. If you have any questions or so, add to the chat, and we can take some time at the end, responding to your questions from the Water Challenge as well as the Youth Collab Springboard program. So with that, I would like to pass it on to Cynthia from UNDP, who's going to speak.
Yes. Just one thing on the Water Challenge. So this is just one development challenge that we are focusing on from now till for a few months. it's not the only challenge faced by the world, right? I mean, so we haven't yet decided, we might in the future be picking other development challenges and crowdsource and perhaps launch innovation challenge. This one is just on water. So think a little bit if your initiative is something which addresses the water challenge, and there are 4 ways of thinking about it that Apoorva said, then do apply to this. And just listening to some of you, I would imagine that Divya, for example, did talk about her initiative that helps to save water, and then I heard Kaushik talk about water. I also heard Alok talk a bit, but I'm not sure whether the Gram Chetna Andolan Kaushik, Alok, that you were talking about deals with water. So I'm just listening to you. I'm thinking that there are 3-4 of you that are very actively doing something about the water crisis. So think about the water crisis as four different parts of it. One is areas in the world that are having too much water, like flooding. And is your initiative solving that, trying to solve that problem, right? Not the whole world, but maybe in your community. Number 2, the problem of too much water. I mean, droughts. And so perhaps your initiative, and I heard Divya talk about that also, or even Kaushik, this thing about how do you conserve water? And then contaminated water, which is really linked with public health. Or something to do with water utilities, like water utilities are really mismanaging water, right? I mean, in a lot of our countries, they're struggling. And so is there a way, maybe digital technology, maybe data that can help solve that problem? So if you have an initiative that addresses any of these in any way, please apply. But I mean, I just want you to read the guidelines a little bit, so you don't apply if it's just remotely connected with water. It should really be very deeply connected with water for you to be qualified to apply to this. So anyway, just wanted to clarify a little bit, because I know we are trying to pack a lot in this 1 hour, 1.5 hours. So yeah, and we'll share the slides. Somebody asked that in the chat. We'll share these slides so you can have a little bit more time to digest all that we are talking about today. Okay, back to you, Apoorva.
Thank you, Namita. Over to you, Cynthia.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Namita and Apoorva and the entire World Bank team for having us here. We're very happy to be meeting with all of you here today. And I just want to extend the congratulations to all of you here who have come so far in your entrepreneurial journey and also working so hard on all of your initiatives. And I think just to emphasize on the importance of getting to know each other, I just want to take 1 minute for everyone to write in the chat your name, where are you calling in from, and 1 sentence about what you do. So if people are interested in connecting, then you can obviously get in touch. I have an example there. So I'm Cynthia. I'm calling in from Hong Kong. I work at the UNDP on the Youth Co-Lab, specifically on the Springboard program, which I will dive into in 30 seconds. So this is co-led by UNDP and Citi Foundation, and we love working with all of you like young social entrepreneurs, innovators, activists, to create a more enabling environment with the ecosystem partners like the World Bank, and also helping the different governments on their policy work as well. So what is the Youth Co-Lab? It is, we have 3 streams. We have the downstream, which is we run program directly for young social entrepreneurs. And then we have the alliance partners, which is where we have the midstream working with the investors, academias, all of our accelerators, and obviously we have the policy and research on the upstream too. So feel free to keep on going in the chat, and feel free to multitask while listening as well. At the Springboard program, we support young social entrepreneurs going from innovators to enterprises. So the value add is where they have the minimum viable product, so you're testing out your idea all the way to generating revenue. And on the next slide, we will share more about the learning loop on how we envision the founders that we can support. So actually, we have a very simple methodology because I think opportunities meets readiness, and readiness meets opportunities. And for us at Springboard, we're always doing the both sides of creating as much opportunity as possible, like connecting with the World Bank and also seeing what are some of the ways that we can create, enhance the readiness as well. So for us, we have a lot of aligned vision, like much like the World Bank. We see that young entrepreneurs are our future. We see that you guys are the leaders so that we can have a lot of solutions, and you are the people that can give us a very, very amazing future. And then for us, is very much learning together. We're here to learn from you as well as you are from each other. Hence, I think we have chats and breakout sessions, and we also have a Slack group at our for our cohort as well. And on the next slide, we'll see the year timeline. So we have the Springboard Plus program, which is happening from February to June every year, which is where we learn from experts and partners, including the investors as well as the tech giants, and also the UN different colleagues as well that we have. And then we have the Springboard Elevate program, which is a fellowship program where we bring a lot more of our alumni, such as Divya and all of our sometimes our movers as well, to learn from each other, because I think, as Apoorva mentioned, learning from your own peers are going to be the most amazing experience. And every single session we also have a breakout session where everybody learn from each other. And every single session, we also have a feedback form. And every single time, the most exciting part that people have feedback to us is when they meet with other founders and they get to know how amazing things the other people are working on as well. And of course, we have program survey all the time. And then in the next session, we will dive deeper into the Springboard Plus, which is where all of us can learn more together. And the sessions are very concise. We usually make it around 60 minutes per session, because we understand all of you are very busy people and calling in from all over the world as well. So we have the intros. We usually have a 30-minute workshop where sometimes we bring experts from the different organizations, and then we have the 10 minutes Q&A. Usually we bring in investors or startup program managers from Samsung, from AWS, and sometimes from UI as well. And then because we really want to build network, I think as Namita and Apoorva mentioned, being young sometimes is amazing, and sometimes it's great that we can also ask questions and not be shy and be connected with industry experts as well. And then we have icebreaking and networking towards the end with not only the speaker, but also with everyone in the room as well. And we go from anywhere towards the investment readiness, to operations, to fundraising, to impact measurements, because I think everyone here are looking to create a bigger impact too. And then on the next slide, we will learn more about Accelerating Asia. So they are one of our partners who are delivering the investment sections of the program. They have invested in quite a number of our companies as well, and they are a venture capital firm in Singapore. And then a bit more about the impact so far. Some of our alumni have gone on to receive various awards, and we are very, very happy that we have facilitated opportunities, over 1,000 of them. It takes a lot of work. We actually have account managers that talk with a lot of our portfolio founders to understand their needs, and we actively nominate them to opportunities such as the World Bank Water Challenges, and also the different speaking engagements globally as well. So I think they have collectively mobilized a lot of resources, and they have also have a lot of users that are using their products too. And then on the next slide, we have some tech stack that we use for our different programs as well. So of course, we have our learning management platform. We have an ongoing startup support hub that all of you can access to if you register for the Springboard program, as well as all the recordings, because I know sometimes we might have founders who come and join sessions at their bedtime. So we hope that you can revisit it in a more sociable time if that permits. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we also have a Slack community, and we reignite that every year. So we bring in a lot of our founders. We have different channels. We keep it quite simple, only 3. So community channel is where we let founders introduce each other. And then for the general channel, we ask more serious questions. And then on the random channel, we share cat memes and other things that you might find interesting and funny. And then on the next session, it's just going to be very briefly on the Startup Support Hub. I think we have gone on a lot about the programs, and actually we also have some ongoing hubs that we highly encourage all of our founders to touch upon. So being an entrepreneur is obviously a marathon and it's not a sprint, and I think we need everyone here to be your support. So communications, building relationships, and maximizing learning are what we're looking for. On the next slide, there are a whole bunch of offerings that we do with our founders in our portfolio. And on the next 10 slide also, I will go over them maybe one after the other. So we have the learning platform, not only just for this particular program, you actually can learn through a lot of the different courses on the line on the platform and see the various links. I'm sure Apoorva will share the slides with you very shortly. And then we have the opportunity database. I think we're currently at 700 plus. We also included the water challenge in our opportunity database as well with all of our founders. And then on the next slide, we also have the booking system where we can talk with our young social entrepreneurs should they wish to have someone. Because we have so many offers available, and sometimes founders come to us and be like, oh, we're not sure where we can start, because obviously you offer so much, but which one can I tap into the first? And sometimes we will take a call with them just to understand their needs. And then I think the next one is quite exciting because we have the monthly highlights, which is a very cozy newsletter that we have with all of our young social entrepreneurs. We give them a lot of updates in the community. So we encourage our founders to tell us what they're up to, and then we share it here. We also share some of our research. We share opportunities for them to take surveys that are contributing to our research. And then we also share opportunities that they can have access to, and which will also include the water challenge too. And what is very special with this next one is the online task force that we can tap into, because being part of the UN ecosystem, we actually have access to the online UN volunteers. And these are people who are bread and butter in their commercial jobs. They can be copywriters, they can be marketeers, and they can be advertisers, whatever it is. A lot of graphic designers. We work with the online platform here at Online UN Volunteers to tap into this pool of expertise, and they come and volunteer for our founders too. So we have had quite a lot of successful campaigns with them, with some of the graphics and copywriting being done from these volunteers too. And of course, I think we have the Founders Connect directory. We have it as an Airtable form. We have it from the past few cohorts. And I highly encourage you to also look through their profiles. We collect their company profiles, as well as they sometimes, if they wish, they can also share their personal bios on how they come up with their own companies as well. And then towards the end, of course, as we briefly mentioned, showcasing your work is highly important. it is something that we do in the newsletter as well as sometimes in social media too. We love blogs. So if you're a writer or if you're a social media, then we'd love to hear a lot of your milestones as well. And I think the last one would be to stay connected. I think some of you I heard are from the Movers, some of them from YAG, and also from the Springboard. I think at the Youth Collab we have so much going on. Springboard is one part of it. We also have various programs. So if you feel inspired to join any other, then you can get involved from the link as well. And all of that can be found just a very simple form that you can fill. Usually it takes around 2 minutes as well. So I think all of that will be done, shared with you very soon. And maybe I'll just go over some highlights in the next section. We have had quite a lot of successes in nominating young founders. Obviously, Silvery Nanos I see here. They have obviously won a lot of awards around the region. And we have also got fast track engagements with some venture capital firms in the region. We work with them on their pipelines. So if we see there are good fits and if they're ready, then we'll definitely share. And I think just to briefly mention, all of these opportunities we see as a learning opportunity, even if sometimes the opportunities didn't go through. For example, not everyone can be a full study under 30, although we have multiple nominations of those. But I think going through the nomination process, as well as having someone believe you can do it, and also having gone through the whole application process, have really benefited the confidence as well as the skills of our founders. So I highly encourage all of you to be very proactive in learning from sometimes successes, sometimes failures as well. And then for the next one, we have Ladakh Basket. So not only do we do the nominations, we also have an in-house e-commerce and crowdfunding expert. So he himself is the CEO and founder of a crowdfunding platform in the Philippines, and he works with a lot of our founders on how can they improve their e-commerce presence, their branding online, as well as doing their crowdfunding campaign. So I highly encourage you to also look into that as well, if that is something that would benefit your product-based startups as well. I think just very quickly on the last few slides, we also have Himalayan Innovations working with entrepreneurs and motherpreneurs in the Himalayan regions. And we have been able to work with them since 2018 because we work with our founders on an ongoing basis. Even after they have completed the program, our ongoing process and support still remains. So whenever we have opportunities for them to come contribute at our programs, we'll invite them to speak as well. And I think on the last slide is Shiropa from Monebondu. There are great friends, and I think she has been back to some of our programs to speak, and also have been awarded multiple awards globally as well. So we're very proud of all of our young founders, no matter how big or small the steps and milestones you have made. But I think just being able to take a step in the action that you're doing is already very commendable. So thank you again. And I think the next steps would be obviously to register because much thanks again to Apoorva, Namita, and the entire World Bank team. When we first speak together, I just see how much cohesion and how much alignment we have in terms of our vision and how we want to support young founders. So thank you again, and we hope to see all of you in our sessions. And you will get the information you need if you sign up. So I encourage all of you to do so. Thank you. Over back to you, Apoorva.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. I mean, what Springboard is providing and the UNDP and the Citi team has been providing is this, this massive amalgamation of resources that we highly recommend you take advantage of. So we're going to share the link soon after this this meeting, and then y'all can start registering and I think start communicating with the team to get on the program, because it's going to start shortly. We're going to start in Feb, you said, Cynthia, right? And yes. And then you'll start off with the weekly entrepreneurship meetings and workshops, and then get connected to the entire platform. And this is exclusively for this community, not available to anyone and everyone. So please, please, please take advantage of this, because some of these programs would give you frameworks and models to kind of, if you have an idea, put that on paper, present it to the world. If you're still working on a few ideas, formalize it, streamline it, and maybe if you already have all of them, then potentially scale it and take it to the next level. So with that, thank you, Cynthia. We're going to take, spend about 10 minutes or so on any questions that you all might have. So please feel free to raise your hands and or add to the chat any questions that I know there were a few questions on links. All of that will be shared with y'all. But any questions?
So while people are putting in their questions in chat, one thing, Cynthia, I wonder if you can put the link in the chat right now. I mean, why postpone it? If you have the link readily available, might be good for you to put it in the chat. Similarly, Apoorva, I think even for the water challenge, why don't you put the link in the chat right away? And I see in the chat, I haven't read all the comments. I'm doing that right now, but there's a very interesting suggestion from Abdullah saying that, and it's a really good one, is that we could also request our youth leaders that are present with us to help, even if they're not actively working on water for now, but you would know other people in your communities. So could you help us spread the word so that more deserving young people who are working on this challenge could get to know about this innovation challenge? So if there's a little blurb or something, a write-up that Apoorva you can share with everybody to either apply themselves, and if they know others, to please use. I mean, all of you have huge networks among young people in your community. So help us spread the word, please.
Great. So here is the link. Cynthia will probably share quite a second. I think for the water challenge, us who are not involved in the line, how do we? As Namita mentioned, this is obviously, a focus on water, but there are other challenges that we're thinking here. We also have the World Bank Youth Summit, which is a broader challenge for all. So we are going to in actually my email, I'm also going to share the link to our newsletter, so you all can sign up, and that will give you insights when some of the new developments that are going to happen in the future. So keep an eye out on our social media page, on our newsletter, so that you'll know what we are up to. And of course, there are going to be regular communications from here on WhatsApp and on email. To update you all about, the upcoming programs and activities. So no questions? So maybe, Cynthia, I'm going to ask you, a question. So can you talk, you mentioned about the entire process of, of the program. Can you talk a little bit about, how, what specifically, what kind of skills entrepreneurs and leaders have developed? There are also researchers and, different other advocacy leaders on this platform. So how could they take advantage of this program?
Sure, thanks so much, Apoorva. And I'll also take the question in the chat. Is Youth Collab for both nonprofit and for-profit social enterprises as well? So for us, I think for-profit and nonprofit really at the end of the day, you have to sustain yourself somehow. If you're a nonprofit and you're looking for donations, that's also one kind of revenue stream. So I think for us, if it's very much about communications and how can you better pitch your idea and how can you build better network. So if you think that it's going to be helpful to you, feel free to join and feel free to register. And let me also take the opportunity to thank World Bank again, because this is the first time we have opened it globally to a lot of the founders outside the APAC region. And so when you do the registration, please there is a question asking, how did you hear about the Springboard program? So please put World Bank, YEG or World Bank, so we know you're from this call and you're from this cohort. And also in the country session, you can put other, and then you can put directly, because I didn't know like if we can have the whole list of 190 something countries in the list, but feel free to also do that. So this will be the two things when you register as well. So I think back to Apoorva's question on some of the skills that you can obtain, I think is very much Springboard is about readiness and opportunity. So for us, whether you are an entrepreneur or you're an activist or you are a nonprofit leader, I think if you're mobilizing people and if you're mobilizing resources, if you want to make change, I think you need to mobilize resources. And I think there are so many different skills that you need, all the way from how do you better communicate your idea, and also how do you consolidate your impact. I think a lot of the times when we're young, I'm hopefully still considered young. So when in my younger days, when I try to tell people or mobilize resources from donors or even customers, I was struggling to tell people like, why should they invest in me, or why should they give me money, or why should they buy my product? And I think at the end, it's very much about network, it's about building trust. And I think for the Springboard program, it is something that you can not only learn from the industry leaders who are the people giving the money, who are the people providing the opportunities and market access, but also I think, as Apoorva mentioned, the best people and best learners are actually the cohort themselves as well. And I think entrepreneurship and being an innovator is sometimes a lonely journey because you think a bit differently than a lot of other people. And sometimes you might not get your way. And pretty much a lot of the times, resilience is being tested and something that you build at the end of it. So I think having this community is going to be very important. And I think learning from each other is also something that I find most valuable for a lot of our founders.
Thank you, Cynthia. I see that Mohammed has a question. I just unmuted you, Mohammed. Please ask your question, and then we can go on to Simon, who also had a question.
Yeah, hello, my name is Mohammed, and I'm calling from Freetown, Sierra Leone. I don't have a specific question. I want to give a comment. I was having internet connectivity challenge before joining in finally. I missed almost half an hour of the program. So I was wondering whether that would be a recap of everything that happened, so I'll be able to catch up. Thank you.
Mohammed, we will share the link. We'll share the slides with you. And we'll see if we want to make the recording public, but we will keep you surely share the slides and the relevant links with you. Thank you.
Okay.
Simon?
Oh, hello. Hi. And thank you so much for organizing all of this. It's very, very interesting. I was just wondering about the youth collab. I think you said normally you would only work in the countries where you have, well, I guess, operations. But in this case, is it anyone who's part of this group could apply? And then after the Plus program, would it be sort of in person? I forgot what the step after would be, but would that be in person? Maybe you mentioned it, but missed that.
Thanks, Simon. So the Youth Collab Springboard program is virtual, and I think since this is virtual, we definitely welcome people from all over the world. And this is we usually work in Asia Pacific, but this time because of the World Bank and because of Apoorva and Namita, we're able to access have everyone's access globally, but only for the YAG group, as she mentioned. And also in terms of the in-person, because we are very, very vast in terms of the different countries that we have. So I think we will mainly do virtual programs. So even for the Springboard Elevate, it's going to be a Springboard virtual fellowship as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Cynthia. We did have another question about the newsletter. And then, so I think steps to publish in the newsletter. I think a more relevant question would be, how to, if you all want to co-write a blog with us. So please leave, if you'll have, once we make these WhatsApp groups, if you'll have any interest, if you want to take the lead on, leading these WhatsApp groups or these thematic discussions, as Namita said, then we can get together and talk about a few key topics that we want to highlight through the blog, which can further be linked to the newsletter. So there is another question from Aya Emmanuel. Do you still have the question? Aya, you want to ask it? Okay. Maybe you can add it to chat. There was another question by Tato. Tato, I'm just unmuting you, so please go ahead and ask your question.
Oh, hi, Apoorva. Mine wasn't really a question, actually. It was the same problem that Mohammed had, rather, regarding coming to the meeting a bit late due to internet connection issues. But other than that, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for being patient with us, Apoorva. Highly, highly appreciate you and your efforts. Yeah, I'm also an investor in creating more opportunities for youth in my township myself. I have an organization that's responsible of feeding over 700 kids on a daily basis. And we mainly looking at creating more sustainable ways and more efficient ways to actually go about feeding more people in different townships. So I'm looking forward to being part of this program and initiative. Thank you for the opportunity once again.
Thank you. Thank you, Tato. Pasco, I think you have a question.
Okay. It's a question and maybe like a recommendation. Okay, you talked about like grouping different entrepreneurs depending on the category of a venture or the kind of social issues working on. But then there are some entrepreneurs you find is in climate change, is in artificial intelligence. So I don't know how you're planning to do that. By my recommendation or my request would be like, if someone has a company that is running like that is in software and is also doing some initiatives in climate change, that person would see his like appearing on those different platforms, such as for networking opportunities.
Got it. So, I mean, here's the thing, Pasco. You will be part of thematic groups on WhatsApp or while presenting, but still we will all be meeting together and discussing these various ideas. So you all will still get a chance to connect with each other. So that won't be a problem in terms of, wanting to connect and, or you can even, connect on LinkedIn. We have emails to kind of understand if there is a match between your venture and, for example, this AI company or a platform that you want to, learn more about or include in your idea. So
thank you,
Pasco. With that, I think we addressed most of the questions that we have, unless there is another question, please do add to chat. Thank you again. Thank you, Cynthia, for that fantastic presentation, and to your team to having, to opening the Springboard program to all our youth leaders. And then please do apply to the water challenge, as Namita mentioned, because this is something that we are crowding in, a lot of partners from various stakeholders, different institutions, water tech companies, CEOs who will be closely working with and will be mentoring you. And of course, it's also an opportunity to connect within the World Bank water network and other experts within the institution. So with that, I thank each one of y'all for, your effort that you're putting into your communities. It's truly inspiring to see such a diverse group come together and doing impactful and meaningful work, and very excited because I know that this is just the beginning of the journey, and there are many, many miles to walk and milestones to reach. So thank you all again for joining.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Yes.
This was great. I just, again, to echo what Apoorva said, just a big thank you to you all for joining. Thank you for the wonderful work that you're doing. Just a few quick points in terms of recap. Firstly, just one of the questions in the chat worried me, because it seems like I don't want you all to feel like the only focus we have is water. It just so happened that as we were launching this youth advisory group, that we were also launching this innovation challenge with our water colleagues in the World Bank on water. So it just so happens, but you will see from the different backgrounds that you all have that our area of focus is pretty large. So it's not just water, but it's also climate, it's also digital, it's education, it's refugees, it's disabilities, it's digital skills, it's women's empowerment. It's fairly broad focused, as long as the focus affects young people. That's the area of our focus. So I just don't want you to misunderstand that it's just water, that it's just that at this moment in time, we are also in parallel launching this water innovation challenge. So I just wanted to put that out there. Just a couple quick things, just requests from you all, basically 3. One, please do sign up to our newsletter. As you see, Sarah, she's our communications lead. She put the link to the newsletter in the chat. So when you sign up, you will get a monthly newsletter that just tells you a little bit what S4YE is doing, helps you remain connected. And I think, I'm thinking aloud, like going forward, we might even use our newsletter to shine the spotlight on maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of you every month. So that's another way that you can get your word out there to the community. So please sign up to the newsletter. We will put the link again. Secondly, please do sign up to the WhatsApp group. This is one way you will get to know each other. And I'm thinking just basically on the question that Tato and Mohammed asked, because I understand when technology is bad and you missed half the meeting. So maybe, Apoorva, you can put a link to the recording of this session today in the WhatsApp group. So whoever's part of the WhatsApp group and wants to know some session that they missed today, you can hear the recording. And thirdly, it's a real request to you, is if you would like to help us in running and creating these WhatsApp groups on the themes, the different themes that we've identified. If you can work with us and be a coordinator, perhaps, of that group, please let us know. I'll just write a quick email to Apoorva, because we are looking for some of you, maybe not all, but some of you who are able to devote a little bit of time to help us. Because one thing that these thematic coordinators could help us do is something that Pasco raised, which was a very good question, which is, what if I'm working on climate, but I also want to know something in technology, but the cross thematic areas. It's a really important point. And we struggled a little bit with it in terms of how we could create these smaller groups. Our first thought, actually, to be honest, was maybe we could do this geographically. Maybe some of you who are based in Africa could be one group. Some of you who are based in Asia could be another group. But then we thought that's not the best way to create groups, because you obviously want the global network and connection, right? So we'll experiment. We'll see if these thematic groups feel too limited. We might change it. And so we'll keep that feedback open from you all, and we will also adapt it as we go along. The one thing I hope to also convey is that in S4Y we have a large network of partners. And what we want to bring to you is not just what the World Bank does, but what some of our partners do. So an example was today, like Cynthia brought to you what one of our partners, that's the UNDP and the Citi Foundation, are doing together. So that's an offering to you from one of our partners, right? So we will continue to do that. So we are also looking for help from you to do this as well as we should. We really want to do this well to support you, but we're going to need your help too. So thank you very much for joining. This was a good kickoff. In the next meeting, I think Apoorva will remain, keep you sort of informed when we have the next meeting. Big thank you to you all.
Thank you all. Have a good day, night, evening, afternoon. Bye.